자, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 오늘부터 처음 시작하게 될 원서 강의 첫 번째 도서는 The Three Questions라고 하는 책입니다. 이 책은 러시아에서 만든 책이고요. 영어 버전이 나와서 제가 여러분들과 함께 읽기 위해서 이 책을 선정을 했습니다. 우리가 인생을 살아가는데 필요한 굉장히 중요한 세 가지 질문에 대한 이야기인데 Based on a story by Leo Tolstoy. 우리가 그 잘 아는 그 유명한 러시아의 대문호 톨스토이라고 하는 작가가 만든 단편 소설을 조금 각색해서 만든 책입니다. 그림체도 괜찮고요. 또 내용도 굉장히 우리 학생들이 읽기에 쉽게 잘 각색돼서 나온 책이기 때문에 아마 여러분들 함께 읽기에 무난하실 거예요. 선생님과 함께 The Three Questions를 영어로 한번 즐겨보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 자, 첫 번째 시작하겠습니다. For Nikolai. There once a boy named Nikolai, who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I wanted to be a good person, he told his friends. But I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my three questions. Nikolai continued. Then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia, the heron, spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, You will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin, the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, You can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut, is about to fall on your head. Nikolai thought for a moment. Then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions, but their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo, the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I'm looking for. Nikolai hiked high up into the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions, and I came to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down to the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows. The panda woke up. "Where am I?" she said, "and where is my child?" The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening, pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain. He ran farther into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry. Then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still hadn't found the answers to his 3 questions, so he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" asked the boy. "Yesterday, if you hadn't stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me. And the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the pandas and her baby. And the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe." Remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. Again, remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For this, my dear boy, are the answers to what is the most important in this world. This is why we are here. Author's note. Many years ago, I found the 3 questions mentioned in a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Zen master. When I first read the story, it was as if a golden bell inside me had been struck, reminding me that I already knew this tale by heart. Some books are like that, and it has happened for me very often with the writer Leo Tolstoy. The original short story is not about a boy with animal friends, but a child who is looking for answers to 3 questions. His adventure was a different kind. Rather than saving a panda and her child, he unwittingly rescues someone who is trying to harm him. By saving his enemy, he creates a profound connection with another human being. I encourage those readers interested in sophisticated layers and intrigue to seek out Leo Tolstoy's wonderful original story of the same name. I wanted to tell this story to a young audience, so its form here is somewhat different than Tolstoy's. I hope he would be honored by this telling. I hope it would make him smile. Then the animal characters borrow their names from many places. Pushkin and Gogol are the names of famous Russian writers. Sonia was the name of Leo Tolstoy's wife. Nikolai is the name of Leo Tolstoy's brother and also my son, who modeled for the character. Pushkin was modeled for by my dog Raymond. My daughter Adeline is the baby panda, and the wise character of Leo is, of course, Tolstoy. Count Leo Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was one of the Russians' greatest novelists and one of its most influential moral philosophers and social reformers. He is renowned as the author of War and Peace and Anna Karenina, and also as an outstanding thinker of the 19th century. His short story, The Three Questions, on which this book is based on, was published in 1903. The end. 자, 다음 시간부터는 오늘 저희가 읽은 이 내용에 대해서 한 문장씩 한국말로 해석해보고 독해 공부를 하는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 전부 고생 많으셨습니다.